Hey guys, how's it going? Grindtastic Games back again. I hope you guys are having a great Friday. This is a gameplay from one of my streams. It was a Titan Brawl gameplay. I really focused whenever I play Titan Brawl on being the damage person. I want to deal over 100,000 damage minimum, and in this game, I happen to break the 150,000 damage mark. And I don't know if other people are getting that kind of a marking or not, but for me, that is really, really good, and is something that you can do to help your team out. And I know that I don't go positive, but my whole thought process with it is that whenever the game is over, I have dealt enough damage that I've assisted in almost every kill that there is. So, anyways, moving on. This video, I wanted to share with you guys a story that really was having me and my family laughing. It involves my grandfather from whenever he was a kid. So, whenever my grandpa was a kid, he was from a family that had basically no money. Um, we were we were 2 generations ago on both sides of my family dirt poor, like not eating even 2 meals a day every day poor. And it was one of these times that so my grandpa had a few friends that were also pretty poor, and you know it was trying to do whatever you could to handle yourself and get food and all this stuff. So parents focused on work. They didn't focus on the kids nearly as much, which is a thing that, happens nowadays a lot less. People are able to focus on their kids a lot more than they used to. So, uh, these parents, my great grandparents, were so unfocused on what their kids were doing that my grandfather, my grandfather's brother, and one of their friends all were able to one day they just got in a car as young teens and left. I think they might have been 17 or 18. So they might have actually, thinking about it, they had to have been old enough. Well, actually, my grandpa was younger than his brother. I know my grandpa's brother was old enough to enlist in the military. That's what I know, and I'll get to that in a bit. So, anyways, the story starts out with all three of these guys getting in a car and just taking off. Well, they get down to, I think he said it was New Mexico, and get into a small town in New Mexico. And back in those days, cops could pick you up for next to nothing. You didn't have to actually do jack squat. You just had to be suspicious. So, my grandfather, my great uncle, and their friend were all grabbed by this local sheriff and were, brought in basically for questioning until they could find out who they were, why they were there, yada yada yada, figure out that they weren't gonna cause trouble. So, uh, they were stuck in the jail for an entire day, and according to my grandpa, the friend's parents actually noticed that he wasn't there and were curious where he went. So they put out a thing with the cops saying, like, keep an eye out for this kid. He's gone missing. We don't know where he is. My great grandparents didn't have that same situation. Anyways, so with that, the the kid's parents were looking for him. The cops were checking a background to make sure that they weren't trouble causers or anything like that. And the individual sheriff put them in the end of a hall. So at the end of this hall, they're stuck in the jail, and it's back in the day when every kid carried a pack of matches and shit like that in their pockets. So they're saying, like, this is boring, this is crap, why are we stuck here, yada yada yada, all that stuff. And they they figured they'd have some fun while they were in there. So this was a town that had its jail in the very middle of town. People were walking literally just outside of the jail cells, barred windows like you would see in old cartoons. And with that, the the group of them, all three of them, were not opening the window. They were sitting at the window and just saying, help us, we're stuck in here, we can't get out." And they even went so far as to say, we're the cops, the prisoners, they tied us up and they stole our clothes and they ran away and escaped. And they were just causing trouble because they were troublemakers. The cop was right to want to check who they were, but they didn't cause trouble in the extremely bad way. So it is what it is. So after a while of being stuck in there, and after basically being told, like, stop talking to people through the bars, damn it. They're late in the afternoon and whatnot, and this sheriff hasn't really been paying attention to them for a while. So they've been given some really garbage food that was just awful. And what do? They say, this isn't good for eating. It's the worst stuff we've ever had. So what should we do with it? Well, these kids decided that the thing that they wanted to do with it was actually to set it on fire. So they took all their plates of food, stuck it in a little trash can in their jail cell, and then used their book of matches to light the trash can on fire. So all of a sudden, the room starts filling up with smoke. The smoke starts pouring out through the bars and through the door and all that. And once it does, the the other prisoner that was there started having his cell fill up with smoke, and he started freaking out. He was all like, "Oh, help me! I'm gonna die in here! I don't want to die!" And so the guard for the jail cells comes running down the hall and figures out what's going on. He opens the jail cell, puts out the fire real quick, and then just lines the three of them up against the wall, and he's like, "All right, you boys have lighters? Matches? What do you have?" And they all go, "Yeah, we have matches." And he just holds out his hand and says, "Give them to me right now." So they hand over their book of matches. He leaves. Yeah, about 30 minutes later, in walks the sheriff, who says, "All right, boys, I don't see anything wrong with you guys, so we're gonna call it, you guys can stay for the night or you can leave now. Which is it?" And my grandpa looks at their friend and goes, "Do you want to stay here?" And he goes, "Hell no, I'm bored as shit. Let's get out of here." So they all leave. They all go on. They get to San Francisco, I think is where it was. And immediately, as soon as they get to my grandpa's aunt's house, the police knock on the door, they grab the friend, and they take him home. So they could have been in trouble if they were stuck at that small town a little bit longer. Well, hope you guys enjoyed. I have more stories, so let me know how you liked it in the comments, and I will see you guys next time.